The afterlife will always be a subject of human fascination. What happens when we die? Do you believe in reincarnation and rebirth? Is reincarnation impossible? Before you make any concrete decisions, let's get more into it. When an adult claims to remember their past life, it is easy to dismiss as crazy talk or attention seeking. And it is no doubt that most people who claim to have past life memories are lying. But what about children between the ages of 3 and 4? A child who is only old enough to have just recently begun speaking most likely has no motive to lie. When analyzing these specific claims, would it be logical to conclude that all children are liars? What is even stranger, in my opinion, is when children remember past lives of ordinary people who the modern average person would not have known about without extensive research. It makes the child's testimony more credible because it is not like they could have acquired this information from their parents or from playing around on the internet. What would we act like when our child starts talking about memories from another life that are proven to be correct?
Does this have any meaning for you now?
I'm pretty sure that's one of my wives.
Is 10-year-old Ryan a boy with an overactive imagination? Or the reincarnation of a man who died more than a half-century ago? It's a mystery that began when he was just 5.
It was scary at times because he wouldn't sleep at night. He would wake up in the middle of the night screaming and crying. One night he said, "Mom, I have something I need to tell you. I think I used to be somebody else." He started just telling me these stories about how he had lived in Hollywood.
Had you ever given much thought to this whole idea of reincarnation?
No, ma'am. I grew up in a Baptist church. That's not something that we were taught to believe in.
And so she tried to keep it a secret, worried everyone would think her son was crazy.
But when we found the picture, it changed everything.
A photo in a book about the golden age of Hollywood.
She turns to a page in the book, and it's black and white, and I say, "That's me." That's who I was.
That's me.
Yeah.
Since early on, Hindus and Buddhists have believed in the concept of reincarnation. It is the philosophical or religious concept that an aspect of a living person starts a new life in a different physical body or form after each biological death. Today, 24% of Americans across all religions believe in reincarnation, according to a Pew Forum on Religion and Public Life poll. To put it in perspective, that's more than 75 million people. One discipline of study would be that of the child psychologist. For more than 45 years, a team at the Division of Perceptual Studies at the University of Virginia has been collecting stories of people who can recall their past lives. And if the professors determine that there is some merit to these stories, their findings will call into question the idea that our humanity ends with our death.
This was the picture that his mom sent me.
Finally, Ryan's memories could be attached to a face, but who was he? Ryan's mother turned to this man for help, Dr. Jim Tucker, a child psychiatrist at the University of Virginia. For 50 years, researchers here have tracked 2,500 cases of children claiming past lives.
And your conclusion is what?
These cases demand an explanation that we can't just write them off.
He's written about many of them in his book, Return to Life. But he says few of his cases have as many details as Ryan's.
How he had danced on Broadway and then had gone to Hollywood to work in the movies. Then he had worked for an agency, seen the world from big boats, talked about going to Paris. All of this, frankly, seemed quite unlikely to me for an extra with no lines in the movie.
Ryan also remembered he had 2 sisters, that he was married 5 times, and lived on a street with the word rock in it. He even asked his mother for True Aid, a brand of orange soda discontinued 50 years before he was born.
And it would be, "My last room was grander. I want to go back to my swimming pool. When I wanted to go somewhere, I went down and saw the boys down at the bank, and they gave me the money, and I went."
Behaving like this Hollywood mogul, not like the 5-year-old child.
Exactly.
It took a Hollywood archivist to finally identify the man in that old movie. His name, Marty Martin. And just like Ryan said, he'd become a powerful Hollywood agent.
Ryan had talked about how people would change their names at the agency, and of course at the talent agency they were changing people's names all the time.
And Martin did dance on Broadway, travel the world, had 2 sisters, and even went to Paris with his wife. It was his fifth wife. And that street with the word rock in it? Martin lived on Roxbury Drive in Beverly Hills. His daughter even confirmed he had a craving for orange soda, just like Ryan said. We found a bottle of that long-forgotten brand on eBay.
Of course, a lot of people are going to say, come on, this is the parent or somebody else feeding them information.
I mean, it's just inconceivable that the parents, for some reason, had done all that. This information wasn't on the internet.
When all these stories from children line up to be proven true, it is hard to dismiss the concept of reincarnation to a child's overactive imagination. However, I grew up in a Catholic home where reincarnation is not believed in. For in the book of Hebrews, chapter 9, verse 27, it says, quote, "Just as man is destined to die once, and after that to face judgment." End quote. This implies that we do have eternal souls. However, also implying that people only live one material life on earth, and the afterlife consists of your soul in an eternal place like heaven, hell, or purgatory, depending on your judgment. This still does not help prove how these children can recall specific memories of another life.
Are you glad you've had this experience? Yes, I am.
Does it still feel real to you now that you're 10?
I still feel like it's real, and it is kind of baiting.
So, are these children making all this up? Are there ghosts stuck in this world whispering their life stories to children? Or is reincarnation something that we really need to seriously investigate further? As a practicing Catholic who loves my religion, I do not feel that my faith is threatened by this opposing belief on the afterlife. I think that it is important to call our beliefs into question, as I have learned in my Theology 110 class of exploring religious meaning. For it is only through this discipline that we can truly understand and keep an open mind with exploring various options of the afterlife presented by other religions that might have been dismissed. What do you think will happen to us?